Hello, welcome to Educational Insights Podcast Session 1. I'd like to begin by introducing myself. I am Nina Abdulrazak, the advisor to Learning Buzzers, and I am here to present to you this interesting podcast about EduTherapy. So, our focus will be on what EduTherapy is. But before I begin, I'll just give you a little bit of information about my background. My background is in education and specifically in educational psychology and leadership. Educational Insights is a newly launched podcast by Learning Buzzers. And before I tell you about what EduTherapy is, I would like to give you a brief idea of Learning Buzzers because EduTherapy is actually the core business of Learning Buzzers. So, Learning Buzzers is an international educational service provider that was established in 2020 in the Kingdom of Bahrain. And although it is based in the Kingdom of Bahrain, uh, Learning Buzzers provides face-to-face services regionally, not just in Bahrain, and its online services are accessible by anyone in the world. Learning Buzzers specializes in EduTherapy, and not only that, it is actually the first and the only EduTherapy service provider in the MENA region, and this is what makes it special. So, what is EduTherapy? Now, EduTherapy in some parts of the world is not a new concept or approach. However, in the MENA region, it is still considered as completely new, and it is a new approach in the field of realizing human potential. So, EduTherapy has its roots in the implementation of a comprehensive mechanism for addressing learning and behavioral challenges. It is the only therapist free interactive approach for removing the effects of stress factors which block potential. So, in reality, edutherapy or educational therapy, as we can call it, helps learners help themselves. So, edutherapy empowers. So, what is it exactly that edutherapy empowers learners in? The answer is really simple. It empowers them to overcome obstacles to learning. And some of the main obstacles to learning that we know of and that are really very common, to mention only a few, are the following. We have, of course, attention and concentration issues, and there are memory problems, poor listening skills, emotional troubles, or social, factors or circumstances, sometimes poor study skills, lack of organization or lack of good time management, and maybe one of the biggest of them all is lack of motivation. I think this last one a lot of parents and teachers can easily relate to because more or less we all suffer from this problem when it comes to our children or to our students, where many of them just lack the motivation to learn. So, how does edutherapy work? Edutherapy really, as an approach, it is very simple to understand, but to explain it, I would like first to tell you a little bit about how learning buzzers operates and how things are done in learning buzzers, because through that explanation, you will get a clear idea of how edutherapy works. So, to begin with, learning buzzers uh, caters to regular students, and I cannot emphasize this enough. What we mean by regular students are students in comparison to students with special needs. So the clients really of edutherapy approaches of learning buzzers are students who typically demonstrate behavioral or cognitive or socio-emotional problems that negatively impact their academic performance or even their relational performance. And what we mean by that are the social relations that these children or adolescents have. Now, the approach focuses on coaching, positive psychology, and CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, rather than on focusing on clinical or counseling practices. Now, you may be wondering, like, what's the difference? Well, the difference is that with the clinical or the counseling practices, the focus tends to be on providing coping techniques or coping mechanisms in order to solve problems of, you know, like social nature or problems related to concrete life challenges, situations, issues, etc. So there's a lot of focus on the problems themselves that are like the root cause of whatever the child or the adolescent is, going through. Now, when we talk about edutherapy, the focus is different. Edutherapy actually targets specific learning skills and gaps, and at the same time, what it does is it helps the learner understand their learning styles, needs, learning strengths, and areas of improvement and abilities in order to foster in them self confidence and to help them develop a growth mindset. So the focus is not much on the problems or the root cause, of the issues that the learners are going through, but rather it is more empowerment. It is more like proactive, and it is a focus on let me understand better as a learner what my gaps are, what my needs are, and at the same time, develop those tools that I need to help me in filling those gaps or addressing those needs. So that is the kind of approach that edutherapy takes, and that it really helps support learners with. So this approach, the edutherapy, it's not always individualized. A big part of it is basically individualized, meaning like one-on-one activities are there to help support the learner, but at the same time, there are a lot of group activities, and these group activities are help with self-development and with learning. Now, in addition, when it comes to ediotherapy, there is reliance not only on the experience and the qualifications of the ediotherapy specialist, but rather there's also reliance on research and on evidence based findings. What this means is that depending on the case of the learner, there is always like some research done and some information that is sought in order to be able to put together the best plan or program for the learner based on their specific needs. And not only that, but all the plans and all the programs in the edutherapy approach that Learning Buzzers practices are all quality assured, and they are basically designed in a way where they meet expected academic standards. Now, you may be wondering, like, what are like some of the most like common problems that have been treated effectively by edutherapy specialists? Well, some of these are performance anxiety. And what we mean by that is the anxiety that learners go through, for example, when they have a big test or they have a major presentation and things like that. So the edutherapy specialist can help with that. Also, another problem that is usually solved effectively through ediotherapy is basically that of memory or retention problems or difficulties, attention, concentration issues, the lack of motivation, social emotional challenges, or negative academic self concept where the learner may not have like positive beliefs about their academic abilities in a certain subject, let's say math or science, or in general, just, lack of self-confidence in academics or academic ability in general. And also sometimes the poor social or study or organizational skills like problems, these also can be effectively dealt with through EduTherapy. So what this tells us is that really learning buzzards mainly focuses on catering to children and adolescents. But not only that, learning buzzards also extends its services to anyone who deals with children or adolescents. May they be teachers or caregivers or parents, and the services that learning buzzards provides are in the form of continuing professional development, especially for teachers and educators. And so, uh, learning buzzards, it provides a range of activities, continuing professional development activities for these educators and for the parents and all of that, in the form of one-to-one consultations, training workshops, webinars, online and face-to-face short courses, plus, other like types of activities. Now, what we need to highlight is that Learning Buzzards is actually an approved continuing professional development provider that's internationally certified by the CPD group in the United Kingdom. And so this really ensures the quality of its provision when it comes to continuing professional development activities. Now, in addition to all this, Learning Buzzers is working now on launching a new comprehensive professional certificate in teaching and learning, which will be really a major leap when it comes to continuing professional development and advanced professional development for any educator, but precisely for teachers, because this qualification basically what it will focus on are ways to enhance the pedagogical skills and the knowledge of educators. And this qualification really targets not only current teachers in K through 12, but also it caters to or it targets even faculty in higher education institutions and even educational administrators. So all of them can really benefit from this qualification. And the reason why they can benefit from it is because they will be exposed through this qualification to the latest trends in education, to innovative teaching strategies and assessment methods, and also to new ways of integrating technology and especially artificial intelligence in education, and also to other forms of digital literacy. So, really, there's a lot to gain from this professional certificate, and this professional certificate is really like a mark for anyone who fulfills its requirements. It's a mark of excellence because it does show that this educator has taken, a step to advance their competencies and to advance their knowledge and skills in the classroom. And actually, the benefits of completing this qualification are many, because it will help improve a teacher's performance in the classroom. It will help better with classroom management and student engagement. And not only that, it will also open opportunities for the educators who fulfill this qualification in terms of, like career progression and career opportunities. In addition to this, the organizations that these educators belong to will also benefit, because, when they have teachers or they have administrators who have fulfilled the requirements of this qualification. What this means is that they are adding value to the whole organization through whatever knowledge, new knowledge and skills, they are gaining from this experience. And this will help in encouraging really and promoting a healthy learning culture in the organization. Now, what and all of this, of course, will help with improving the quality of education and quality of provision and student learning. Now, speaking of quality, and because quality is really something that is a priority for Learning Buzzers in October 2022 decided to actually extend its services by opening up a new division, which is called TICA, and TICA stands for Teacher Excellence, Quality Assurance, and Accreditation. And this division has the vision of becoming like a leading higher education quality assurance training and consultancy service provider in the MENA region. And so, what this division provides are services for higher education institutions per se to help them in improving in terms of their quality assurance practices and to help them with their internal quality assurance practices in order that they successfully meet the requirements and the standards of external quality assurance or accrediting agencies. And so TICA really serves higher education and, in this way, Learning Buzzers has not restricted its services or limited itself to only catering to K through 12, but also now it has a special service for higher education. And this way, it would be actually like covering the whole spectrum in terms of education levels from K through higher education. And hopefully that with TICA, development of student learning will be ensured not just at the K through 12 level, but also in the higher levels. And this is what Learning Buzzers really seeks and what it is after and what it prioritizes through all of its services. The learners are the number one priority. So this is it with respect to Learning Buzzers as being mainly an edu therapy service provider for K through 12. EduTherapy services are directly provided to the children and to the adolescents, and there are EduTherapy, of course, services in terms of developing those who work with the children and the adolescents, so they themselves also can acquire some of these EduTherapy competencies and use them when they are working with their children or their learners and students. And also, finally, there is TICA as basically a service provider related to quality assurance and accreditation, consultations, and training. If you are interested in Learning Buzzers and finding out more about it, please visit the Learning Buzzers official website at learningbuzzers-edutherapy.com. Easy to remember, it's all connected and no capital letters. Learningbuzzers-edutherapy.com, and follow Learning Buzzers on Instagram at Learning Buzzers. Thank you very much, and I look forward to future educational podcasts with you. Next podcast is going to be a very exciting one. We will tackle a very important educational topic that not just teachers can benefit from, but also parents and anyone who is really interested in education. So, good day to you, and bye bye for now. Take care.